Hi, friends. Welcome to Overcome with Joe Shiro. I am your host, Joe Shiro. The show will be navigating through the trials, triumphs, and power of musical theater. We are talking to musical theater performers who have made their dreams come true of being on Broadway, in their dream show, on national tours, all of it, as they've climbed the mountain to reach their biggest dreams. And believe me, it is a hell of a climb. We are all human beings here. We all suffer heartbreak, love, joy, magic, sadness, setbacks, trauma, frustration in some way, shape, or form. We talk about staying on your path and dreams despite life's obstacles. I hope this helps you on your way up your mountain. Let's get started. Our second guest on Overcome is Nathan Levy, currently Omar in Disney's Aladdin on tour. He made his Broadway debut in 2020, right before lockdown, in Broadway's Tony Award winning musical, Dear Evan Hansen, understudying the roles of Evan Hansen, Connor Murphy, and Jared Kleinman. That is a lot of harmonies. After that, he originated the role of Clumsy and in the ensemble in Once Upon a One More Time, a new musical powered by the hits of Britney Spears. He is truly nailing it, and we'll get to talk to him about his times in the Blue Polo and getting to live every queer person's dream of singing Britney Spears on a Broadway stage. Let's overcome.
All right. I have Nathan Levy with me today here, live from Fort Worth, Texas, on tour with Disney's Aladdin. Oh my gosh, hi. Um, so I'd like to start off with each guest doing a mantra. So Nathan, do you have a mantra you'd like to share with us today?
Yes, I do. It's three simple words. Meet the moment. Do I
Y-
explain or no, I don't have to
Yeah,
explain.
go into it. Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever you can apply with your life. And
Well, I've been doing theater since I was 10. I was really, really young and really, really shy. Um, and so I knew I liked doing theater then because it was like an escape from me, which I know a lot of actors can relate to. But now growing up and having gone to college, and auditioning professionally in the city. I was in these like audition rooms with these people behind the table, and I was meeting all these other fellow actors at these auditions. And I would just get so in my head, like, how have I ended up here? Total imposter syndrome. And I would like go into those rooms and just completely revert back to like that 10-year-old, just like deer in the headlights energy, and I would walk out and just be so upset with myself, like, so hard. I know I worked hard and, like, to get to that point, and I didn't quite meet the moment. And so I say that now not to, like, put extra pressure on myself because it can sound like more added pressure, but it's just a reminder mostly for me to, like, take the time in the room, actually be present, and yeah.
I love that. Now you could still use that as your current version of yourself. And it's going to continue to evolve and grow as you use that mantra throughout your career and your life as a human in general.
Yeah.
Uh, I love that. Thank you for sharing that. So when did you know this is what you needed, like, to do? You're like, you need to, and you're originally from California. Where in California are you from?
Yeah, I'm from Orange County, California, Southern California.
So would you see shows like in national tours in Costa Mesa at the Sager Strom and be like, this is like guide me
Oh,
through?
first show I remember seeing was actually at the Pantages. And it was like every Southern California kid like was at Wicked at the Pantages. The Eden Espinosa, Megan Hilty, that was just the iconic one. And so everyone saw that growing up, and that was like huge, huge. Um, yeah, and my brother also is a performer. He's an actor, so he's about 5 years older than me, and so I saw him do shows and stuff, and I was, like, doing soccer and baseball, and I was like, "No," and then I think my first show I did, like, community theater was, Bye Bye Birdie. But I was
And Bye Bye Birdie.
just, like, in the kids ensemble.
Heck yeah.
Yeah.
Slay. Oh my gosh. I love that. Yeah. I mean, Eden and Megan, iconic ladies. And then you're seeing a show about overcoming and owning your power, right? So
Oh,
it resonates. you at all and be like, this is how I want to change people's lives. This is what I need to do.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, felt like the heart racing, like with all those magical moments. And it was like, oh, this is something I don't feel when I'm like playing soccer, you know? Like, this is something else that I should like listen to and follow. And luckily enough, my parents were supportive because they had already gone through it with my older brother. Um, so yeah.
Wow, amazing. So now what was the next steps for you to get out of California and you knew, okay, I need to go to New York City, I need to level up. Did you uh realize that?
Um, I would say like I went to a art high school. Um, it was 7th grade through 12th grade, senior year. So it was 6 years, Orange County School of the Arts, and I was in musical theater conservatory. So we would do normal school during the day and then like have a little break and then do 2.5, 3 hours of your respective like conservatory classes. And so that was really great just because, it was like I was doing master classes and cabarets with Liz Calloway and Susan Egan and Lindsay Mendez and Ali Stroker, like just unheard of for like a normal high school experience. And so I think by junior, senior year, I was like, okay, well, I've gone this far, like might as well just keep committing and investing. And then I went to Pace University. Yeah.
No, down Vide-Eye, baby.
Yes, downtown.
You made your Broadway debut in Dear Evan Hansen, the Tony
Mhm.
Award-winning musical.
Yes. Yeah.
Broadway debut. My gosh. So when did you first hear about Dear Evan Hansen, or when did it enter your life?
Pretty early, like pretty early on. So I believe I was a senior in high school when it uh, opened on Broadway, and I went to New York and I saw the fifth preview of Dear Evan Hansen. I was in the mezzanine. I even like remember like going back to that seat that I sat in because I remembered the seat, and I went with my friend Caroline. Um, and we just like loved theater, and we're like, we're just gonna go to New York and like see a shit ton of shows. And so we saw Evan Hansen, the fifth preview. We were sobbing and it was emotional. We were like, wait, this is insane. And it really was like one of those like movie moments where I looked at her and she looked at me at intermission. I was like, I have to do this. And she was like, you have to do this. Which fast forward to my debut. She was at my debut that matinee. And so that was like total full circle for us. But yeah, pretty early on, and then I auditioned for it during college. They had like come to Pace and like NYU and other New York schools like on campus to audition, which was really cool. But I remember like freshman year and sophomore year, I could have auditioned, and I was like, no, like I'm gonna adjust to New York and like college life. Like I did not feel ready at all. And I was like, I'm not gonna do that to myself. And so then beginning of junior year, I auditioned. It was all these callbacks. And I think it was like 12 something, like in total. It was like over the span of a month and a half or 2 months, all while still going to school. And then I remember I booked it right before Thanksgiving. So I went home for Thanksgiving, came back to school, finished out, or did like essentially double duty, but with school and rehearsal. So I would do class during the day, take the train up 20 minutes to Midtown for rehearsal, then go back down for like Spanish class. Like it was such a wild like 2 months. Um, but it was really, really satisfying, and like just felt like, oh, this is like, you know, this is hard work that people talk about. And so I took off that spring semester, which ended up being the COVID year. So I did it pretty much like maybe 4 months, and then we came back and I came back. Yeah, that was the beginning of it all.
Oh my gosh. So take me through that, the callback and even the audition, like process of that, like, having yeah.
It was crazy. The craziest part was that I still don't really know how this happened, but like I didn't get the emails like from casting about like the initial appointment. Like I don't know what got lost in translation, but I wasn't getting it. And so it was the day before the initial in-person audition. And someone got my number from Tara Rubin casting. It was like, hey, we've been sending you these emails. Like, you haven't responded. Because I didn't have an agent at the time when I was in college. And she was like, yeah, you haven't been responding. But like, we'd love to see you. And I was like, oh my God, I'm freaking out, like on a phone call with someone like this. And I was like, yes, I'll be there. And it was crazy last minute. I had that night to prepare everything. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to blow it. Like, I'm so not prepared. Obviously, I knew the songs, but still, like, I essentially found out about this audition the night before. And so then I went in and I sing, you sing Waving and Words Fail. And then you do the opening Evan monologue. I believe it was like the whole monologue. And, you see, I like saw all my friends from Pace there and I saw my friends from NYU there. And then over time, I kept getting emails to come back, uh, to do the same stuff. I I think that was just because I was going in for the Evan, Jared, Connor understudy track, but even at the time, it was like pretty well like understood that I would just be doing Evan and Jared material. So I did that for Evan, and then Jared, I would do the first scene like in the school hallway when they come back from summer vacation, and then Good For You scene into the Good For You like solo. Um, and I believe it was just those things. Like I didn't have to add more on later on in the process. I think it was just more people having to approve and see. So the table kept getting bigger and there were more cameras filming for people that were away in London and putting up the other production. So that was just crazy. It was crazy.
Was Michael Greif, or Steven or any of the writers, were they all there for your, like, final of that?
My final, they were not because, like I said, I believe they were putting up the West End production, right, when I was auditioning. And so they were all in London, but they were all on FaceTime. So I remember like having to set up my laptop, like it's like on a Zoom and like set it up at the table. Um, and then I was on FaceTime with Benj and Justin and Michael, and they were all like, I'm assuming they were just like sitting like on a break, like in the theater in the West End, like in London. So no, they weren't there in person, but they were on FaceTime on my computer.
I had
Um,
no idea. Oh my gosh, that is so fascinating to know.
Crazy.
And obviously they saw something in you we need to keep bringing this person back. They have something, like, to bring to this that we
Yeah. I
that
mean, they would always say like I would do the material. Some of these auditions are like really freaking early in the morning. And yeah, they just say, thanks for coming in. And it's just slow down and take your time. And honestly, that was my first experience with like a long audition process. Um, and so by the end, by that final callback, like you see these people like almost twice a week, like for many weeks. And so it sort of shifted in my brain that this was less of an audition. And yes, while it was still like very high profile, very high stakes, don't mess it up. Can I cuss on here or no?
Yeah, go for it. Let her
Don't
rip.
fuck it up. I was like, please, like, let's just not fuck this up. And I kept going back. But something shifted in my mind where I was like, oh, like if I just treat this like rehearsal, because these work sessions were now becoming an hour long, an hour and a half long, 2 hours long. That's pretty much what was happening when I got the job the first few weeks of rehearsal. So once I shifted that mindset, I was like, oh, okay. And I think that helped. I think.
And they wanna see what it's like to work with you in the room, like, how well can you take notes?
Yeah.
And, it's a lot of oh my god, and that's what they do with a lot of the Alphabets too. I was my first guest, Sarah Fernandez, she was the understudy on tour for Alphabet,
Yes.
and they had her sing Defying Gravity, Wizard and I at, like, 9:45 in the morning, like, same deal. Like, well, if she can do it at 9:45, yeah,
Yeah.
same
Yeah.
deal. Like, okay, if he could sing Waving and get those wavings out, then alright.
Well, right. And let's just be clear. They were not all coming out. There there were times when like when they would just tape it and they're like, let's do another tape. And I was like, let's please do another tape. Because they make you sing it like just over and over again. And with Evan Hansen, and I'm sure like Wicked, like any big show that's already up and running, they already know the adjustments they want to give you, but to you, it's still coming at you from music team and directing, and it's just a lot to take in. And I knew at the time they didn't really expect me to take all of the adjustments immediately, but at least from what it felt like on my end, it was like, I'm not kidding. I think it was like 20 notes per department for music and directing. And they was like, okay, do it again. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to try and remember because I couldn't write this stuff down. I couldn't look at it and sit with it. I was like, just hear it and then do it again. So I was like, okay, how many did I actively like remember? How many did I actively do successfully? I don't know. But yeah,
Therefore, you met the moment.
I did.
You did, and all your journey to that point got you to where you can handle this and have the endurance, like, "Alright, like, just bring it on."
Yeah. Because I was so young, like, yes, I was so fucking stressed and so scared, but also like because I was so young, I was like, oh, okay, this is just what it is. And I oddly think that helped too, because like now looking back, I'm like, that was insane.
Yeah.
All of that was insane.
I mean, just being it's a lot, and being asked to do that and the mental toll it can take, it's your dream, yes, but it's like your body, your mind, your soul, you have to connect everything and try to all these adjustments you're getting, you're hearing this new information. It's like going to school, like you're learning stuff for the first time, right, in the class, right? And
Yeah.
apply it. And there's no time to like, okay, like you said, give me a minute, let me just look it over. Like, how
Mm.
you gotta just do it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, oh my gosh. So now you get so tell me about when you like got the call, like what was that day like?
I was in my voice lesson. I was at my voice lesson at school. And I remember it was there was some holiday on that Monday. And so I knew like the auditions had happened like maybe Thursday or Friday, and Saturday, Sunday I wasn't gonna hear anything. And Monday I was like, it's a Monday, they're not gonna call or anything if I hear. Cause I knew at that point it was between me and a friend. Like it was just us. It was very clear it was just us. Um so then Tuesday happened and I was in my voice lesson. I was like, oh damn, it's like 3, 4 PM, like whatever. Like I'll just keep moving on. And luckily I had classes to like distract me, I guess. But I was constantly like in my voice lesson, just like, like I was not there. And he understood too. And then I finally got the call in my voice lesson. And he has a video of it happening, but I don't have it. I need to get it.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's
Of course I was crying and I was like I was at school, so everyone was just like, it was like crazy. It was like stuff of dreams. And I was what? I was 20. I think I was 20.
that is so special. That is so special to hear that. And the work that you did, it was also the release. Like I worked so hard and now get to do things. Now you joined the show around January, early January 2020.
Mhm.
You didn't get to go on several weeks before COVID shut down.
Yeah.
So now that whole year, I mean, I lost my job there too for 18 months. It was, and we
Right.
were the last show to
Was
open.
you there? You were there like pre-COVID. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
I was there. I started stream there October 2018. So I was there
Okay.
for end of Taylor Trench's time, all of Andrew Feldman's, and start of Jordan Fish's. And I've seen pretty much everyone. Like I've seen the original cast, but as like a audience member. But I
Gotcha.
saw pretty much every understudy, every combination. I mean, it was the best. So then we shut down, and it's not even like we were the first show to come back. Like we were the last.
Yeah.
So
Really, we're the last one.
what a great day that was. I remember it. So it was the invited dress, and then the next day, like
Yeah.
new posters outside the theater. It was like I had it on a vision board, like it's a real, but yeah, it was like the best day ever.
Oh,
Um, but you got to go on about like 4 or 5 weeks. You made your Broadway debut as Evan Hansen. You got to go on 4 or 5 weeks after we reopened. So tell me about getting the call. Nathan, you're on. And
oh my gosh. It was January 22nd, which is my half birthday. And so,
wait, are you a Cancer? Are you born in July?
yeah, July 22nd.
I'm July 18th because my hot birthday is January 18th.
I was supposed to be born July 18th. I was
Oh, uh,
Oh, yeah,
I was not.
Cancer.
Only because I knew his half birthday is like January. I'm like, oh,
Yes.
that's
Happy belated half birthday.
happy belated half birthday to you as well.
But yeah, it was
Sure.
January 22nd. And we had 2 shows, Saturday, I believe. Um, and I got the call at maybe around 10:30 or 11 from our stage manager, Judy, Schoenfeld, and she just called me, and of course I knew, as soon as I saw her name calling, I was like, "Oh my god, this is it." Because even those 4 or 5 weeks, I was like, "Okay, I've been with this material for a while. We all have, like, I certainly if I'm not ready now, there's a problem." Like, I felt very ready, and I was like, "Oh," like, I knew there were other understudies in line or just other boys, and so they were going on, and I remember asking a couple times, like, "Is there anything that you need to see from me to feel confident to have me go on?" And they're like, "No, you're great. It's just a matter of time." And I was like, "Okay," because I was getting impatient, which is not the best, but I was. Um, and so when she called, she was like, "So, how would you like to make your Broadway debut today?" And I was like, "Oh my god." And it was a crazy day too, I remember, 'cause, our conductor was out, and so we had, uh, Brian, this guy Brian, who was our conductor, who was Asian, and he was conducting both shows, and then Zachary Noah Pizer, the alternate, he normally would have done the matinee, but now since he was doing the night show, I would do the matinee. So it was, a very Asian day at Evan Hansen, which was really cool, on top of the debut of it all. Um, and luckily I had all my friends there, like, in the show, and even Zach was so helpful and was like, "Just let me know the names of the people you need, and I'll fill out house seats and tickets, like, you focus on what you need to focus on, like, I'll." And then I had other friends, like, telling people that I was on, like, I had a really great support, team, like, that kicked in instantly just so I could, like, really focus on getting ready.
And now, so you get the call now going, what did you do from your apartment to getting to the theater when you got to the theater? What mentally
I,
and
like
outwardly did you have to need to do now?
I think I, like, force fed myself to eat, like, bananas. 'Cause these are, I hadn't eaten yet, and so I, like, got ready and, like, scarfed down some bananas because I needed something, or else I would actually pass out. Got to the theater early, did a couple small rehearsal things, like, I had already been on, like, the discs, and I had obviously already had my put in for Evan at this time. Um, but just some, like, small things, I think, like, the chest bump in, Sincerely Me, or, like, the backpack push shove before waving, like, some small safety things. Um, and then it all happened really fast. Like, everyone who I wanted to be there, obviously my parents couldn't make it because they're in California. They ended up coming out a little later, but I had so many friends from school, so many friends from college. My brother was there with his friends, family friends, and, like, it was just perfect. It worked out so perfectly.
And the way how if any listeners on here have not seen the show starts out, Evan's bed on stage, like entire stage is black. Then you just hear the motion side of the space chat, and then it lights up on the laptop, it's up on you, and then I just pouring and just like we were all back, just like yes,
Yeah.
what a way to like make your debut in that way.
Yeah. Well, they don't not let, but they normally just didn't have covers like that going on for Evan first. You go on as Jared or you go on as Connor first, and get the nerves out of your debut, and then you do Evan. And so the fact that I was doing Evan, I don't know any other cover, at least the time that I was there, that had a similar experience. So the fact that it was Evan as my debut, it was like, okay, like, gonna be stressful no matter what. Like, let's just go all in and just do it nonstop.
Yeah, because I think Josh, when he went on because he waited like 9 months or something to make, because he was in the company from like end of 2018 till, I think
Yeah.
it like September, and he went on as Connor. Then I think he went on as Evan like a few weeks later or something. But
Yeah.
yeah, it depends. Like it's so out of your control. Like as a cover,
Right.
like you don't have control over that. So and
Right.
you're ready, like you said, meet the moment. But that was and I'll never forget if anyone was there that day on your debut, at the end of your bow, just you're walking off stage with Jessica Phillips, she has your arm around your shoulder, and then it's on YouTube. She turns you around and she waves and is like pointing you like wave to everybody.
Mhm.
And like you
Talk
just
about
gave like,
Lynn.
such a beautiful moment and what a cheerleader, and to give you that support, like at the bow at the end of like a perfect
Yeah,
experience.
she's the boss. I remember that moment too, because obviously it was in some other world mentally, and it ended, and I was just doing the normal thing, the Evans like hug the Heidi, and they just walk off, and she's like, "No, like stop, breathe, look out at this moment, and just take it in." And she even said before the show too, she's the best. Oh, she was like, "Same shit, bigger budget." Like you've done this for a long time since you were 10. Like you've been with this show for years now at this point, including COVID. Like, this material, you know what you're going to do. Same shit, just bigger budget. Now it's on a Broadway stage.
I love that, and now it has led you into so much more in your life. Obviously, then you got to perform as Jared, and you got to join the tour for a little bit too. I mean,
Yeah.
how many times did you went on forever? Probably like maybe 10 more times or several.
Yeah, there was a time that was January, and then I did maybe a couple in February, and then March. Me, Josh, and Reese, and Mateo Lizcano, and Reese, Sebastian Diaz, we all sort of rotated for Evan. And so I think there was a lot in March, and then there was a lot in June.
And then you got to you left the show in July of 22, and then
June was June I did like double duty essentially for this out of town show, Griswold's Broadway Vacation. So of course, like June, when I was like already stretched thin, and it was the whole month of double duty. That was the month I like oddly went on for Evan the most. I was like, of course this is how it goes. So like that also too is just like crazy. It's crazy that was at the end of my whole journey too, because I knew I was leaving in July. And I was like, oh, June, I'll be chilling. Like, I'll just like relax and like be with my friends. And it was like, no, you're gonna be on. Crazy.
all that waiting during COVID, and you just got to just live your dream and like let it rip
Yeah.
and like live in it. I think it's so when you're doing the thing you want to do and your vision, actually doing it, it feels like like there's a bit of imposter syndrome. You're like, oh, it's different thinking about it than actually.
Mhm.
I mean, it's a beautiful thing, but I think that's like a good lesson to know. It's like and being present and absorbing every moment and trying to be as present. Yeah.
Totally. Literally, I think I left Evan Hansen July 17th was the last day for a few of us. It wasn't just me. Um, July 17th, and then started rehearsal July 18th. The next day on that Monday for your show, Griswold's Broadway Vacation at the 5th in Seattle. And that was my first time It's a out of town, pre-Broadway experience, which was teaching me a lot in other ways, to go from such a big show that had been running for 6 years, like Evan Hansen, to like creating and originating it was a big fucking mind shift really quickly too, because like you said, we had been in Evan Hansen world so many years since 2018 or 2019, like, and then through all of COVID, like that was our life. We were so stable in that for so long that like, I feel like I blinked and I was, I had moved on. It was crazy.
How did it feel to do now let go of that and kind of accept that
Oh,
with you?
it was hard. It was really hard because I think because I knew I was really like great at um, taking taking the direction specifically at Evan Hansen at the show because it was so specific from all departments. Like me and those boys like really were focused and like we had to be because it was just so specific the notes and direction we were given. Um, so then to go from that mindset of like, oh my gosh, I need to get this right, I need to get this right, literally perfectly, like step here, eyes here, hit the pocket there, to then the very next day, like new script, new pages, new lines, say something, and if we like it, it sticks and stays, or like I got really in my head about like, wait, what am I bringing? What can I contribute? Because for so many years it was just like, tell me where to go and I'll be there, and tell me how to sing it and I'll sing it like that. Like it was hard. It was hard to adjust. But we had done Griswold like starting from June, then July, August, September, October. So that itself was a long process of out of town and rehearsal and workshops. So by the end of that, I felt like I had a better understanding of like how to just show up in a different way. That makes sense.
Trying to figure out what you bring to the table. I mean, you're there
Yeah.
because they want you to bring a plate to the table. They know you got something good. Um,
Yeah.
so tell me a bit of like what that was like, and now with that journey and being in a new city as well.
Well, yeah, we were in Seattle for a while. We were there maybe early August to um or no, end of July maybe to end of September. And then we had about 1 week off and then did a workshop back in New York for October. But Seattle was like just also like a pinch me moment because like I was obsessed with Smash. I'm sure you watch Smash. Like,
Yes. Oh, yes.
well, and I got a ton of Boston and here with the cast. And I was like, oh my God, this is so like, it's not like Smash, but it's like Smash. Um,
Our bombshell, Nathan Levy bombshell.
yeah, I am Marilyn Monroe in the flesh.
Love
But
it.
it was really fun to be there. And yeah, it was just fun.
And now, how did you evolved and grew throughout each class, from Dear Hansen to Griswolds to now
Mhm.
Once Upon a One More Time. So what was that conversation like? Getting to I literally was so excited. Like Britney Spears, okay,
Yeah,
let's get to work.
right. I mean, I remember even seeing it announcing that it was coming to Broadway because I wasn't in the out of town or I mean it's been in development since like 2017, really really early on. And funny enough, my brother, who's an actor, like I said, he was in the very first reading workshop of it, of Once Upon, and so that was just like a crazy full circle weird moment for us. And yeah, I knew it was coming, but like this was around January of 2023, last January. And I auditioned randomly. It was like Here Lies Love and Once Upon a One More Time were the two like first shows of the new season because they were in the summer. So it was still kind of early in the year. Um, so I auditioned for those in January. And it was the hardest dance club I ever had to do. Obviously, there's no dancing in Evan Hansen. And, like, I do dance, like, I danced, like, in high school and in college, but, like, after Evan Hansen, it was like, "Okay, we're gonna do this," you know? And so I did the dance call, and I sang, like, Drops of Jupiter and, Under Pressure, I think, and I did, like, maybe 5 lines of a side, and, like, I don't even think those 5 lines were in the show by the time we'd opened, which is interesting and cool. But yeah, I think that was like a oh no, that was a Wednesday, that audition. Oh no, sorry, that was a Tuesday. And then I went back Wednesday to do it all over again for the same people. Um, and then I got the call Friday. Super quick, super not like Evan Hansen at all. It was like, all right, you're doing it. And then you start April 3rd. I was like, okay.
Wow. And Britney Spears? I mean, come on. I mean, what now obviously she means so much and her music means so much to so many people, especially and you getting to like dance like, Evan Hansen's like not doing like a box step.
Yeah.
Now you're like really up there, like busting a move.
Yeah.
So
Give me more.
what was now that like and leveling up and now originating a Broadway show and now getting
Yeah.
to know more of who you are as an artist and a human?
I definitely was so scared. I mean, I knew I could originate a role and I knew how new material worked because of Griswold, so that was nice, but never on Broadway. So, like Jess Phillips said, same shit, bigger budget. Truly, like, uh, it was really, really perfect, honestly. And I still like can't believe that I got that opportunity to do something like Evan Hansen, and showcase those skills, and then to sort of do a full 180 and doing this Keone and Mari Madrid choreography. They're best of the best of the best, and they're from Southern California, and they're both Filipino too. So like they truly were like mom and dad. Um, to do their choreography for their Broadway debut was really special. It was really fucking hard every fucking day, but it was so rewarding. And all my friends were like, "Oh my god, I didn't know you could dance," and I was like, "I guess I am. I'm doing it." 8 shows a week, because Evan Hansen, I was chilling backstage, but this was 8 shows a week. I got to sing a little bit too. I had a nice little duet with Aisha Jackson, which is
The
nice, and I got
lead
a
here.
yes, yes, and I got a cute little gay little love story. It was
I
perfect.
all the people around me, they were like, they saw you and Ryan Steele like together, and everyone was like, "Oh," like so everyone was just rooting for the two of you. To see even just gay love on Broadway is just so special and
Yeah,
very important, like especially like now, and to see it on stage and to be a queer artist performing, doing that for the masses, like
yeah,
even in a
I
Britney
was
Spears show, it matters so much more than and it could have helped somebody. You never know. That day, someone who really needed to see that story.
absolutely. Ryan and I did a interview with Out Magazine when we were doing it this summer, and to everything you just said, it was like just really special and like constantly pinching ourselves that like we're, we're telling this story in a Britney Spears musical. Like people really did resonate, and it was always very well received. Like spoiler, I guess it's not a spoiler. The show's closed now, but we kissed at the end in Act Two, and like yeah, I was very lucky and was felt taken care of too by Aisha and Ryan. It was great.
And they are both like Broadway pros. So it's, they've had quite a resume under their belt as well. So now for you to learn from these two incredible performers, you're like, all right, I'm taken care of.
Mm,
Like, that
absolutely.
got you back. And to have
Yeah.
that for you makes it more safer.
Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, and Jen Samard, like
Come
as
on.
the stuff, like I was just constantly like, okay, soak it up. Like, cause this is now obviously you still take classes and training and voice lessons, but that's the training is just watching these people work.
Exactly, and even as an understudy, you have to watch. So you're watching all these amazing people. You're watching Andrew Feldman, you're watching Jordan Fisher, you're watching, David Jeffrey, Alex Boniello, like, all these people you're learning from. So,
Mhm.
I learned so much from everybody. I learned from you. If you know everything, this is what I'm trying to say. If you know everything and you're not learning anything, then what's the point? You
Right.
need to
Right.
continue to learn and grow. If you know everything, then that's, like, not fun or if you don't meet new people or have these new experiences, then it's like a blocked wall. It's like, well, you can't really go anywhere, but the more you learn from other people, you evolve and continue. That's what I was
Totally.
trying to say. Sorry about that.
And you said it. You said it. I couldn't
Um,
agree.
and, what a special time to do an original musical, especially it was spring, Britney Spears, we had the lightning bracelets on. I was like, "Okay,
Yes.
this is, like, an experience." Like,
Yeah.
I mean, it
People
was
loved it. Like, it was just a fun, fun time too. And like I said, like 180 from Evan Hansen. Like, I said this and I hope people didn't take it the wrong way, but people who knew me understood, especially you and like Josh and all those people that were in Evan Hansen that came to see me. It was like, oh my God, I'm actually getting to have fun on a Broadway stage. Because Evan Hansen was amazing and huge and so fulfilling and rewarding. But like, I think you and I both know, like, when I was up there on that stage, there's no fun. Like it was a lot of work and there was fun in it, of course. Like we as people made it fun, but to just be on stage and Britney Spears and like it's just a party. I was like, oh, like so fucking joyous and so refreshing too. Like no one was crying. No one was having to worry about any of that. It was just a fun time.
and to live in that, I'm so glad you got to have that experience and, work with these amazing people. I mean, wow, thank you for sharing that.
Oh,
Seriously appreciate you telling me that. And now, you are currently on tour with Disney's Aladdin. We have a
yeah.
left, but if you're able to talk about your audition process with Aladdin and what did all that look like. So, One More Time closed in September, and it was like shortly after. Yeah.
September 3rd, we closed. Labor Day, we closed Once Upon. And I believe I got like the audition for Aladdin tour to play Omar maybe 2 weeks before or 3 weeks before. And so I auditioned in person and I sang like a little song like that he sings with the other people, the other Aladdin friends. I sang that and I did like one side. Like very it wasn't anything crazy. And then I went back the next week for like added dance call stuff, which was pretty fine. Like it was me and a few other guys. Um, and funny enough, it was Jen Rios, who was the associate choreographer of Evan Hansen.
Oh,
She was
no way, love her.
yes, who is the associate of this because she was in the original Broadway company of Aladdin. And so seeing her was also one of those like pinch me moments of like, oh, like, you know, she got up from the table, gave me a hug. Like it just felt really comfortable. Um, and like to go back to like meeting the moment and like being in those audition rooms, it's like, oh, now I can actually like have a real connection with these people and like I don't have to work myself up so much, you know? And so that was a nice reminder. And then I booked it, I believe the next day. I got a call and I think I had 2 weeks um left of Once Upon. So my agents were like, "Oh, you can like just focus on finishing out the show, like be present and close that out, and then there's time to like figure out if you want to tour." So closed Once Upon September 3rd, and then had that month, I guess, or 2 months, and so I was like having a couple weeks to like prepare to like move someone into my apartment and like go out on tour. And so that was just like pretty quick. It was pretty quick. And then I joined in October. My first day was October 1st.
So what was your put in? Did they kind of rehearse other people with you that were going into the show?
They rehearsed one other guy, who was a standby for Genie and like Sultan, I believe. We two came in together, and so yeah, when I did my Omar put in, he did his Sultan put in.
So put in, and obviously it's where you do the whole show in full costume, full glitz, full glam, all of it. Then everyone else is in their street clothes or their hot
Yeah,
around stage. And you're just kind of figuring it out as the actual show, I mean,
yeah,
what's that like for you to now? I mean, obviously you had put-ins with Dear Evan Hansen. I'm sure you had an Evan put in and, rehearse with Griswolds intensely.
yeah,
Now this is you're into another existing show. So
yeah.
now like I got this, I got this. What was that like for you?
Um, it was interesting, like coming into like a show that was already put up and just sort of replacing again was fun. Aladdin is such a great show. It's about to celebrate its 10th anniversary. Isn't that crazy?
10 year, oh my gosh.
Years. So like, I don't know, it's just lots of fun. Um, and I knew a couple people already on the tour before joining. So it was nice to like be with friends and like adjusting to tour life. And yeah, the put in went well. And then I debuted that night. Um, and now I'm in Fort Worth. It really does go by so quickly, some of these cities.
Yeehaw. So excited for this journey for you and what a couple years it's been and how you've risen up to your like fullest potential from despair, oh my God, shut down for now 2 years to now originating 2 new music on tour with a Disney people. I mean, it's incredible. So I think you may know a little thing or two about overcoming. How did you overcome in this way over to where you are right now to reach your highest potential?
Oh gosh. I would say
Very deep.
yeah, I mean, having the support, like I feel like that moment of my debut was very telling in that answer of like immediately like sort of just unassumed automatic like unconditional support and love. Like people who in this industry, the good people attract the good people, and like you find them quickly. And so like when Zach was getting me my house seats situated and my other friends were telling other people that I was on, like just the support of the people in this community is like the most special and necessary way to get through all of it because it's hard. It's really hard work, but having your people to lean on because you in return do the same for them when they're at their lows and when they're at their highs. Like you have to be there for them for all of it, just as much as you would want them to be there for yours.
We all need support in any facet in what we do, just like from your
Yeah.
family. It's just really, really important. So even just like a text message or an Instagram post, like, hey, love what you're doing, you're nailing it.
Because of how special Evan Hansen was too. Like I think that lesson was emphasized because there were only 8 or 9. How many on stage members are there? 8 or 9?
It's like 8. Yeah.
I think 8. So like it's a small group of people, like you have to support because there's only 8 of us on stage. Like we all have to rise. Otherwise, the point.
I know it's like you're all in it together, especially with such a intense story and a show that obviously means so much to so many people. It saved so many lives. I can't
Yeah.
believe how many people the show resonates with. I mean, you remember Beth, right? She was a fan. She came
Yes.
times. She gave us all the front of house a card telling us how much like her experiences here at the theater and the show meant to her. And she was no,
Closing?
what was that?
Was she at the closing performance?
Yeah, she was.
Oh,
Yeah, she's sweet. And like no one's ever like, and I've done like theater and community theater and all that, like college, whatever, but
yeah.
no one's ever given me like a letter like that. That's been like
Oh,
thank you
that's
for being
so
part of the
sweet.
experience.
Yeah.
But being a part of something like that for you to like someone could see themselves in the audience, be like someone saw you as Evan or Jared and was like, that's me. Like that's me.
Yeah.
And you changed people's lives so many times doing that. And you know,
was
and
the
the show
collective effort, and that whole building was just great. Like from the box office to our security guys to Rick the usher, you the usher,
Oh, Rick.
downstairs. Like like
Love
it was such a special place for a lot of us to be there.
And that's what it is. Like what a great that's community. Like
Mhm.
really
Yeah,
it is. And that's what the show is about. And it really rang true to the entire building there and that whole crew and company. I mean, I'll never experience anything. I mean, I hope to experience something like that again in my lifetime, but nothing as it was. It will only be like that for that season, for that.
yeah,
It will never be like that again with all the people together like that. But we take it, as Joby, she's the best.
yeah,
So say, listen, it's another person on the street. It's
yeah,
another person you run into.
yeah.
Um, and it's like even I saw Jeff the other day. So it's gonna continue. And that's why like when shows close or a contract ends, whatever, like life continues, life goes on. And you will still see all these people from the walk at that season, and you'll grow as well and you'll all meet up together. So I think, and Nathan, is there anything else you'd like to add in like your journey in life at this point or your
We're chilling. Tour, oh no, we're chilling. Tour is pretty cool. Like seeing all these places. I've never been to Texas before. I'm just here in Texas. Yeah, I'll be back in New York shortly. Um, Thank you. This podcast is really exciting, so I'm excited for you.
Thank you for being like so patient. This is literally the second time I'm doing this. So thank you so much for being like so
Uh,
patient. I'm like still figuring it out. But I was like, I would love to bring on some of the Evan Hansen people.
Yeah,
I appreciate and I learned so much today and like your insight and in your journey. I mean, it's going to resonate and it's going to help someone else. There's some future Evan Hansen. There's some kid out
yeah,
there wear that blue polo. So
yeah. Oh, I hope. Yeah.
Nathan, this has been a pleasure. You are the bomb.com. Appreciate you. Appreciate this time. I think we're good.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you so much. And have a great 2-show day. Thank you
Thank
for us
you.
getting that. I know it's so early. It's a lot, so I appreciate that.
All good. All anything for you.
Oh, thank you, my friend. All right. Well, I will see you back in the city at some point.
Yes,
Listen,
absolutely.
if you need me, I will be at Dig In at some point. That,
Yes.
that is my favorite place. Like I literally right before COVID shut down, I was like, this is my place. This is
I
where I
miss,
belong.
I miss it so much.
I was just there yesterday. Potato, mashed potatoes, the tofu with the drizzle.
I love the tofu with the chicken thigh.
Love a chicken thigh. All right. Well, cheers, my friend, and have a good 2-show day.
Thank you. Good talking to you.
Same as well. Bye.
Bye.
Okay, that wraps up our episode with Nathan today. So good to catch up with him and learn from him today, and I hope you did too. You can find Nathan on Instagram at Nathan Levy to see what he's up to. Follow the podcast on Instagram at Overcome with Joe Shiro and on TikTok at Overcome with Joe Shiro. Subscribe to the show on Spotify, Apple Podcast, and on YouTube. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you and what you do. You matter. See you at the next one.